People say, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Would you agree? I hope you've never had to test this out in your own life in any literal sense. But Malala Yousafzai did. She was born in Pakistan during the Taliban's reign of terror. She was almost killed, but instead of living her life in fear, from that day onward, she became an unflinching advocate for girls' education. According to a 2019 World Vision Advocacy article entitled 10 Things That Happen When Girls Stay in School, the longer girls stay in school, the more likely the countries that they live in are to be healthy and prosperous and peaceful. Girls are just that important to the overall health of society. Malala will never stop advocating for education for girls. And as someone who's also passionate about that topic, I've been following her in the news since Malala was just 15. That year, the Taliban were in retreat in Pakistan, and Malala's school had had a chance to reopen, but she remained a target. And it was her passion for learning that almost cost her her life. In both of her autobiographical books, I Am Malala and We Are Displaced, published by Little Brown and Company in 2014 and 2019, Malala shares how she was raised in a family that valued education. Her dad had actually started the girls' school in her hometown of Mingora and taught there. But when the Taliban took over that area, the beautiful Swat Valley, they imposed restrictions on every kind of self-expression. They burned TVs and radios and unauthorized books, and they actually punished families who sent their girls to school. Malala's family resisted, and they continued to send her until the very last day that her school was open in January of 2008. At that time, Malala was only 11. When she could no longer speak out in school, she continued to speak out, though, on a blog sponsored by the BBC about girls' education. This daring outspokenness on what was now an international stage was what put Malala on the Taliban's hit list. She had to be eliminated. And on October 9th, 2012, some Taliban gunmen stopped her school bus, and one of them climbed aboard. "Who is Malala?" he demanded to know. "I am Malala," she said. And the gunman raised his gun and shot her point blank in the head. Miraculously, the bullet that went through right next to her left eye and down into her shoulder, it didn't take her life or her vision. She woke up 10 days later in a hospital 5,000 miles away from home in Birmingham, England. And that's when the next phase of her life began. She wrote in her book, We Are Displaced, she says, when you go through that kind of experience, there are often two extremes. Either you lose hope completely and shatter and break into pieces, or you become so resilient that no one can break you anymore. She wouldn't break, but the pressure to conform to this new culture she was living in was really hard. Life under the gray skies of Birmingham and as an exile was really lonely. Malala ached for the sunshine and the warmth of home, and she really missed the friends that she had left behind. But she started to get thousands of letters from girls and women from all around the world, writing to her to tell her to keep on being strong and praising her for fighting for their rights. Malala used that renown given to her by the news coverage to make her voice heard even more clearly, this time all around the world. With that outpouring of support, Malala and her family started the Malala Fund, which supports girls' education in Pakistan and in other developing countries. In her travels, Malala has gotten to know lots and lots of other refugee girls, and she helps them to tell their own stories of danger and of hope. The world's taken notice of Malala. She was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize in 2014, and the following year she was even invited to come speak at the United Nations General Assembly. Malala, as an adult, hasn't stopped learning even now. She recently graduated from Oxford University in England, which is England's most prestigious university. She refused to be silenced. She refused to hide from the Taliban, because she believed so strongly that girls like her should have the right to an education. The risk she took really cost her and her family. She almost lost her life. But it also brought Malala to the attention of the whole world. She now uses her global platform to keep on speaking and working on behalf of her passion, which is girls' education. Malala refuses to be known as the girl who was shot by the Taliban. She would rather be remembered, she says, as the girl who fought for education. Malala is always thinking about new ways to advocate for keeping girls in school. Her latest project, she's now working as a producer with Apple TV. Whatever's next for Malala, it's sure to be inspiring. Thank you.